casually dressed and deep in conversation with me, Greg Chalmers. Cddc is sponsored by Pizza Daddy, Lanarkshire's #1 American-style pizza parlour. To stay up to date on new flavours and promotions, then get connected on the socials. The Instagram handle is @RealPizzaDaddy and the website is www.thepizzadaddy.co.uk. To see what we're getting up to here at Casually Dressed, then you can find us on Instagram with the handle @CDDC Podcast, and on Twitter it is @PodcastCDDC. Also, as you're watching this on YouTube, then please hit those like and subscribe buttons. And with me tonight, as my co-host, as always, is Christopher Shields.
Happy to be here, man. How are you?
What was that?
Well, I just wanted to mix it up a wee bit, just kind of come with something different rather than how you doing. I thought, man, I'm happy to be here. How are you?
I'm fabulous, mate. You've kind of thrown me off for that, but we'll carry on.
That's all right. Let's just muddle on through.
Okay. Our guest this evening is Britain's most successful female rifle shooter of all time and world #1, Seonaid McIntosh. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. How are you guys? How's it going?
Fabulous. Just living my best life. Well, trying my best, man.
Everything all right, big man? You all right?
Oh no, I had a session today. No, everything's all good here. It's all good here. What about you, Christopher? Have you had a nice day?
It's been a hectic one, mate. I've basically done like a small tour of Northern Ireland. I've been kind of here, there, and everywhere, which has been challenging.
And you becoming a bus driver was a great idea. Anyway, listen, let's get right down to what everyone wants to know. Shona, how's your lockdown been?
The same as everybody else's, I guess.
Well, I doubt that, right? Because for one, you were preparing to go to the Tokyo Olympics.
That is true. True.
So
it's been a bit up and down, I guess. The start of lockdown wasn't too bad for me. I was getting ready to have a break from shooting anyway, just for a week or two. The first couple of weeks I was like, this is fine. I can finally do all the stuff I never have time to do. As it dragged on, I was like, right, I'm over this now. Can we do something else now? Yeah.
I would imagine.
I
would imagine being a rifle shooter would be like the best stress relief ever. You'd be like, is that right? You just go and say, bah, 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 bah.
Yeah, I don't know. It's a way more zen than you'd think. It's only one shot at a time, so you have to reload every time. It's way more chill. I actually find it's really good for, people talk about mindfulness all the time.
Yes.
I'm really bad at just sitting and meditating, I guess, but you get the same sort of thing from shooting because you have to pay so much attention to what you're doing.
To your breathing and stuff like that.
Yeah, exactly. So it's way more zen than you'd think.
So you're breathing.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. I'm just gonna put my hands up right for the beginning, and just say to anyone listening or watching that I know the square root of hee-haw about shooting, but I'm tuned in and I'm here to learn. So, but before we get into the intricacies of rifle shooting, I want to know how the hell you get into it, because it's not just like playing football or something like that. Do you know what I mean? It's just it's not like
kicking about the streets shooting rifles. Well, in fact, there are people that do that,
but not legally.
But they don't then go on to represent their country.
Yeah. So tell us, Shona, how did you get into it?
It's a bit of a family business for me, actually. So my I don't know which generation to start with. My granddad, I guess. My granddad started shooting at his local club in Elgin. I don't even know when, years and years ago. And my dad, when he was about 12, went along to a club with my granddad, with his dad. So my dad started shooting a bit here and there. Then when he went off to uni, he joined the rifle club at Edinburgh University, which is where he met my mum, who was also in the rifle club. And one thing led to another, and boom, my sister appears. My sister's also a shooter. She started way before I did. She's a bit older than I am. She started shooting first, and then she went to. I didn't even start shooting until Jen had been to her first Olympics in London, 2012. She competed there, and I went down with my mum to watch. It was like super cool. So I was like, right, I need me some of this.
So wait a minute, you weren't shooting?
No, I didn't get to shoot, no. But yeah, I sort of watched the stuff with Jen shooting, and I was kind of like, yeah, I want to start this. So I chatted to my dad. He's the coach, so I was like, Dad, I want to start, and that was that. Yeah, I did a wee bit of school as well. I was in the CCF at school. So.
Right, what sort of school is it you go to when they do rifle shooting? Because Chris and I went to the same school, right? And it was definitely no rifles.
There
was a couple of weapons, but there was no rifles.
Plenty of weapons. Armory full of them.
But so what school is it you went to?
I went to Dollar Academy.
Oh.
You'd probably say posh school.
I
get posh school.
I know a couple of girls that went to Dollar.
It's a great school.
It's aptly named.
Aye, it's quite so. It's funny when you go to it, you're just like, it's not posh, but I guess it probably is posh to anybody who's not there.
But yeah, when you're looking at, we had days off in our school because the windows got blown in by the wind. Like literally, the windows came in on top of people. No, like, okay, let's just go home for the day. I mean, we had like dead birds in the water system, and
oh my god. Yeah, our school, like, notoriously, because it was a boarding school as well as like a normal day school. Our school, like, was notorious, like, it didn't shut ever. For snow or anything. And then, do you remember Hurricane Ballbag? Do you remember Hurricane Ballbag? That was the first time our school shut because it was so windy. Some little like prep school kid got hit with a tree branch because it was so windy. He was walking between lessons, and that was it. They were like, no, we have to shut the school until the...
Like something out of a Monty Python sketch.
I think he was all right, just for anybody who's wondering. But yeah, like they were like, no, we're going to have to shut the school, send everybody home.
He's getting 8 teeth now, but he's all right. So you started at school, right?
Yeah.
Again, that statement in itself baffles me.
There's a wee rifle range at the back of the school. It's like 3 lanes.
Was it a little tunnel range? Was it?
It was very very army. Put it that way. Yeah, it's got like a sloping firing point. All the stuff I shoot on now, it's all like a flat firing point. But the army have got this thing about having. Yeah.
Can I ask something?
Yeah.
What are the words you just said?
So the firing point's the place where you lie, and then you're sort of pointing at the target from the firing point.
Okay.
So an indoor range like the one at school's 25 yards normally. There's quite a lot of those dotted around the country, and they're sort of what people shoot in club-wise. Competition-wise, I shoot at 50 metres, which is outdoors, and that's one of my events. And then my other event is at 10 metres indoors. If that makes any sense.
No, listen.
It's hard to visualise over sound, but so yeah, these little club ranges, and then a lot of the stuff, if it's like a CCF, like a school cadet force or something, or a not school cadet force, they're all like army certified and things, and the army have these rules that the firing points have got to be sloping, so if you're lying on it, your head is higher than your feet.
Why is that?
I've no idea. I honestly have no idea.
Come on, Chris.
It's all because it's called the AOSP, the Army Operational Shooting Policy, dictates it. So there's just basically, you'll have guys who are in the Small Arms School Corps, which they're basically they were the guys that basically teach people how to use weapons. See, the guys that taught me how to teach weapons. You know what I mean?
Oh, cool.
So
there you go.
So I would basically train recruits and teach them how to use their weapons. So yeah, you have to go a course with them. But these guys are the guys that come up with it all, and they're like, that when it comes into kind of like, like danger, like boxes and stuff like that, of how far a weapon can go, and all the rest of it, and how like clearance areas of ranges and the trench depths, and there's a whole lot. There's a lot that goes into it, and you sit there and go, let me take some notes.
Yeah, right.
So the thing I want to know is, how do you go about training for for your event? Like, say that you were obviously with Tokyo coming up, right, and you're thinking, right, I need to train. How do you just literally just have to lie there and just shoot things all day?
Pretty much. There's a wee bit more to it than that. So I do. So I've got 3 positions that I shoot. One event is just standing up, and that's the 10-meter event. And then my other event is 3 positions. So I start in the kneeling position, and I do 40 shots in that. And then I move to the prone position, which is lying down. 40 shots there, and then I do 40 shots standing as well.
Wow.
So my training mostly I do, well, in a normal period when we're not in lockdown, I would train 5 days a week, probably like 4 or 5 hours a day, just in the morning, and there's loads of different stuff. Some of it's like performance drills, some of it's really technical. A lot of it's just repetition, so you get the feel of the position, because what you're trying to do is replicate the position exactly the same every single time.
Yep.
Minimize any differences, make the shot go in exactly the same hole. So a lot of it's just repetitions and like trying to feel the position so that you can recreate it, I guess, again.
Muscle memory, essentially, recognizing where the position is. So like 40 rounds in standing position, that's difficult to do. I mean, having stood up and fired around, it's a difficult position to keep your accuracy, because you've just not got much in the way of a kind of base, really, have you? It's all. So do you have like slings and stuff as well, or is it just, so you're not just stood holding it? You've got
for standing, there's no sling. So you use a sling for kneeling and for prone. Kneeling's quite similar to prone, I guess, in the sort of the upper body bit of the position. It's quite similar. And then standing, it's all about bone structure mostly, I guess. So you're trying not to use muscle to like hold the gun, I guess. You're trying to, if you've ever seen pictures of shooting, the positions look really weird. And it's all about trying to stack bones and things in the right sort of place so that you can just stand there and not use, obviously you've got to use some muscles, you fall over. But it's all about like stacking the muscles in such a way that you use minimal muscle effort. It's great fun.
Wow, man. It's a lot.
It is, I know.
You see the genuine surprise on my face like that?
What?
It's a lot, man. So, but if you're outside, right, there's variables like the wind.
Yeah. That's what makes it fun.
We just like
No, we've got wind flags. So from the firing point, which is where I am, I'm going to get it wrong. I think it's 10 meters in front of me. There's wind flags, and then another. I think they're maybe at 30 meters, so another 20 meters past that. There's another set of wind flags. So you're using those. I guess if you're on a grassy range, you can use the grass. If the grass is moving, when it's raining, the rain's a good wind indicator. There's like loads of stuff you can use. The smoke from the end of the gun, actually, when you pull the trigger, you've got smoke comes out the end of the barrel. You can tell. It's really good, actually, if you've got loads of people next to you and their guns are all like poof. Watching the smoke from other people's guns is another good one. Yeah. You also got sun. Light variability is a big one. It's like if it's really, really bright, your eyes tend to like squint, so it's a wee bit harder to see. Or if it's really, like I was training today and it was so dark, it's so cloudy, and you're kind of like squinting, like bug-eyed, trying to be able to see anything because it's so dark. There's loads of stuff to think about.
Have you got a scope?
Nope. It's just what we call a peak sight. So it's just a tiny wee hole at this end, and then at the other end of the gun there's another circle, I guess, and you're just trying to line up all the circles.
All right. Okay. So it's not the kind of
wee circle. Tiny wee circle.
So what? I just sound like such a moron here. So what are you? Like, I know it's bullets you're shooting, right? But like what caliber?
It's a .22. I think it's about 5 millimeters. I'm told. The diameter of the bullet.
Cool, man.
Yeah, we just call it 22 because it's .22 of an inch.
I
was trying to think of what that was in like normal people speak.
So to put that in context, what I used to fire was 5.56, so slightly bigger. Yeah. Just obviously it's larger caliber round, larger caliber.
And they look like the ones like I used to shoot in cadets. Those ones, they look so much bigger because they're a lot longer. And they're like super uber pointy. The ones I shoot are like what's that? Like an inch tall or something. They're really tiny compared to the like big bullets. I also shoot 300 meter, which is 6 millimeter. They're big.
300 meters.
Yeah.
Just with your eye, no scope.
Yeah.
How?
It's great. The target's just like proportionally bigger, so you're shooting at something that's like I have no idea how big it is. I wanted to say like,
is it the big circular ones basically, the kind of black and white?
Yeah.
Do you have to take into consideration the curvature of the earth at that distance?
No, thankfully not.
Again, it's just we used to fire at those sort of ranges. It was just the wind. You have to take in it, and obviously, the stronger the wind, kind of we were slightly less accurate because obviously we were trained to shoot for kind of different for different effect, shall we say?
What's the way of putting it?
But no, essentially it was so like if you get the wind, it would basically just be kind of quarter target, half target, full target, depending on either way, depending on. Is that similar sort of stuff to you? Or I imagine you'd be a lot more intricate at that sort of distance. Sure.
Aye, so we've got they call it. There's two different things. So you can do aiming off, which I guess is pointing somewhere else on the target, in order to like hopefully get the wind to push it into the middle. That's like quite big changes, and so I'm told you're not really supposed to do that in competitions. I'm really good at it, so that's pretty much all I do.
Yeah.
And then we have something else which is a wee bit more intricate called shading, which is kind of just like tiny slivers, I guess, because you're obviously, well, I guess not obviously, you're trying to shoot as middle of a 10 as possible. So you're not just trying to like hit the 10, you're trying to hit the really middle of the 10. So say the wind is like not very strong and it's going to maybe push you from a 10.9 into like a 10.1 or something. You want to shade it so that you get like as close to the middle as possible. That I'm rubbish at, so I tend never to do it.
Okay.
So yeah, I need to practice it. It's either like super windy or it's not windy at all. So I hardly ever have to use it.
Right.
But the aiming off's fun. Yeah.
That sounds amazing though. Like you're kind of going right. I'm just going to shoot half sight and just curving the bullets. It's like that. What's that film Wanted?
I tell you what, it does get.
Is that the one where it goes around corners?
Yeah,
I keep hearing this reference to bullets going around corners. I'm like, oh, I wish I could do
that. I mean, there is something quite satisfying about it. I mean, especially when we used to do our kind of operational shooting test, and the targets would be fall when hit. So you'd be like aiming off, and like you'd have this little kind of target of like Herman the German pop up, and you'd fire it off. And you'd be firing like a good, like say it'd be a windy day because it's always windy. It's an army range, so you'd fire off say like a target to the right, and then it would drop. You're like,
yes, right.
There's nothing quite like it. You're like,
I was just saying that to my dad the other day. It's like the best feeling when you've aimed it off in like a ridiculous amount, and it goes like right in the middle. You're like, ha ha.
You're like, check me out. Bang.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I love that. That's the best feeling.
But what I found was, see, whenever you hit the target, and you're like I keep that point of aim. That's when I would then be like, somebody would go, right, your coach would be like, keep that point of aim. You'd be like, okay. Then all of a sudden you'd be like, yeah, but my nose is really itchy. Yeah. But I could, just a little bit, it'll be all right. And then you move and you completely move your possession, and that's it. You've got to find it again.
Yeah.
And I would start having like arguments with myself. Going, yeah, but nobody will know. Go on, just give a wee scratch. And you're like, no.
Nope.
Don't
I know discipline's a big one that you learn. Like I guess when you start, loads of people ask me like, "Is it a good sport for kids and whatever?" I'm like, "Yes." Teaches discipline. It's like a great thing for that exact thing. I always get this thing. This is so gross. But I always get this thing where it's good. It's really good because you've got to like teach them the safety and stuff, and then like the discipline for shooting well. They've got to learn discipline and things, and then it's good for concentration. It's great. It's great fun.
Okay.
Yeah, but I suppose. But I mean, for me, I've had too many loaded weapons pointed at me by young, well, I say young kids, 16-year-olds. So again, used to train young, like 16, 17-year-olds, and you'd be on ranges and you'd say something to them, they'd be like, what? Yeah. Point this weapon at, it's the worst. It's the worst thing ever. So.
Rule number 1 is the first thing we teach everybody is never point a gun, loaded or not, whether it's got the bolt in it or not, never point a gun at anybody else.
Never point at any weapon in jest.
Yep. Never do
there
it.
You go, there you go, Greg.
Yeah,
don't
man.
I
live by that motto, I know. Right, okay. So I want to know about the Commonwealth Games because you were but a child back then.
I was.
So it's a huge responsibility, man. Going to the Commonwealth Games as a fresh-faced 18-year-old.
Aye.
So tell us about the experience and any anecdotes about it or whatever.
It's a bit crazy, really. I was still at school when I qualified, trying to like get good enough grades and stuff to get into uni. Like doing the doing your personal statement and all that kind of stuff, and also doing your classes and everything. So yeah, I was still at school when I qualified, and then I think I qualified in the December before the games, and then like it was announced, I think maybe in the March that I was in the team, which was super cool. And I was so like, guys, we've got a couple of games, how cool is this? And it was such a like anticlimax because I felt like nobody cared. Yeah, they were kind of just like, okay, cool, like we know you're really good. So I was like, but I'm not, but this is really cool, why are you so excited? It's really funny because my sister had already been, so everybody's like, well, yeah, obviously. Guys,
Stolen your thunder.
yeah, it's like, this is way cool. What? Oh, okay. No, I was really excited. It was really cool. And like I went to the games. I had this like massive summer, I guess. All this sort of leaving school stuff. I was in the pipe band at school, so we had like pipe band competitions and things. And yeah, like fit. I guess it sounds really weird to say, but like fitted in the Commonwealth Games around all this stuff, and it was awesome. It had such a good summer. I shot like absolute crap. It was so bad. I was really new, I guess. I only had maybe 1 or 2 major competitions experience before that. I think I learned a lot actually from it. But yeah, I was really disappointed at the time because I shot like an absolute ninny.
Did you feel any extra pressure, obviously, because you were a Scottish person, shooting at home games?
Yeah, I think so.
Added to the pressure.
Yeah, so I guess because it was a home games and I'd never been to anything like that before. We had loads and loads of friends and family and wider sort of friends and family as well. Loads of people that I hadn't seen for years. Like all of these people came to watch because it was a home games and things. And I'd never shot in front of my mum before, which was a bit kind of like, well, mum's here. This is weird. Because she obviously used to do the shooting, so she knows fine well whether I'm doing well or not. Yeah, like we had all these family friends and other like extended family and stuff. They all came to watch, and I guess like on the day I was just so excited to go and see everybody that I shot really fast and wasn't really paying attention. Like I thought I was at the time, but in hindsight I wasn't really. And I just shot really fast and didn't shoot particularly well. But like honestly, I think that really helped me for some of the other games in the future that I'd been to, where we had friends and family coming, because I was like, right, I want to see everybody before I shoot so that I don't have this like crazy excitement to see everybody while I'm shooting. So yeah, like I did learn a lot from it, even if I didn't get out of it what I wanted to.
Yeah,
it was kind of one of those things. Like I guess like I was 18. If I'd shot the absolute best I could have shot, I might have won a medal. But I would have had to have shot like the best I could shoot at the time to have done something like that. So like me in my 18-year-old head, I decided I'm going to win a medal because I'm good enough to win a medal. I was like, you're good enough on your very best day to win a medal, but you can't have your very best day every day.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I guess my expectations at the time were really high. I still think I could have shot a bit better, but like I learned a lot from it.
So how did you find things like the opening ceremony and stuff like that? How did you actually go to that? Or
I think I did. I can't even remember now.
You can't remember?
I know, it was so long ago. What? I've been to so many.
Aye. Take a bit off it. Right. Oh, Greg, man, it's just another bloody parade.
Another opening ceremony.
God.
I'm going to carry another flag. Oh my God.
Oh,
represent my country again.
Such a chore. It's really hard being an elite athlete, honestly.
Yeah.
Anyway, right, okay, so you can't remember.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think I do remember. I've like think a bit more.
Good.
Then they have like the sort of flag bearer group, I guess. So they sort of, I don't know who picks. I think it's the team management picks like 4 or 5 athletes that they think should be the flag bearer. Okay. And then the each sport, like the athletes from each sport, get to vote on who we want. Jen was in the group, my big sister. She was in the group of people that were sort of nominated to be flag bearer. She didn't quite get it. Ewan got it instead, the judo player. But they had like Ewan, and then they had the other 3 girls that were nominated, and then they had everybody else. So I was still like kind of wee and shy. So Jen had been sticking next to me, so I didn't get lost or trampled or anything because I was so wee and like terrified. And then she obviously had to go forward to the front, and she was like, just stay there, just stay there. So I was right in the corner, where I would have been seen by the camera on the TV. She was like, stay there, it'll be fine, use your elbows.
Use your elbows. It's not a mosh pit.
I know. Well, then I had the boxers and the gymnasts, all of whom, well, barring the super heavyweight guy, all of whom were actually smaller than me, but were like so roughy tufty and like strong. They were all just like going around the corner and going right in the front so they could be in front of the camera, and I was like, oh my god. So I just like stayed back, and then this like super heavyweight boxer guy appears in front of me, and he's like 8 feet tall, absolutely enormous. I was like, please. I was like, yeah, they're never going to see me on the telly now. They did. They spotted me. My friends took like, I guess was Snapchat around then? Yeah, took snaps of me and sent them to me. I think it was. I think they got pictures anyway. Yeah. They're like, that's you, and it was just like this little blur. I was just like, I can tell that's me. Yeah.
Just under the arm of an 8-foot boxer.
Absolutely massive, that guy. I don't even remember his name. I don't know if he'll know who I'm on about. I don't know who I'm on about.
The only two Commonwealth boxers I remember in that year were Josh Taylor and
Did Josh Taylor enter it?
Josh Taylor, was it? Yeah, well, I mean, Josh Taylor is. Yeah, he's now like a unified world champion.
Superstar, man.
Yeah, he was at one of those award dinner thingies. But like, I think he was away, but he just won or something, so they had him up on the big screen, and I think the fight was going on while we were at the awards dinner, so everybody's like, did he win? And they got him up on the big screen. That was really cool.
He's kind of like, he's conquered the world basically. And then Charlie Flynn was the wee guy. He was the
Jan like a buzzy wasp.
Buzzing like an old fridge, man. Money mail.
He's cool.
It's like probably one of the best post fight interviews I've ever watched. It's him and Amir Khan. Amir Khan's just kind of looking at him like, I don't even know what this guy's saying. Like,
I'm not sure if Charlie knew what he was saying either.
No. Brilliant.
Too many hits to the head or something. Yeah.
Brilliant.
So, you didn't go to Rio, did you?
No, I didn't.
Did you not qualify?
No, I didn't qualify. Right. So I was like, maybe could have qualified, but I wasn't quite good enough at the time. So it was kind of if she makes it, then that's amazing. If she doesn't make it, that's not surprising. So like at the time, I was a wee bit disappointed. But yeah, I like totally wasn't ready to go anyway. So
this would have been your first Olympic Games then?
Yeah, it would. I know, it's
well, no, it still will be because they're going next year.
That's true. Yeah, that's true.
Someday, an Olympian said to me...
Maybe the last Olympian we had on?
Alan, no, I don't think it was Alan. It was another Olympian said to me that they don't think it was going to be happening.
Tell you what, see, for being quite small and insignificant podcast, we've had we have the lion's share of our guests have been Olympians or people going to the Olympics. It's ridiculous.
I know. See if you
we knew so many people that were involved in the Olympics. Like.
See, the thing is, if you look at our podcast as like a sample of Scottish excellence, you'd think there was a fucking Olympian in every fucking street. Because we've done 30 podcasts, right? And 5 of them have been Olympians. Do you know what I
mean?
And then is it 5? Is it
5? And 5. Yeah.
5 Olympians.
Because we've had Gordon Reid on as well.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
So this all started right because they all went to our school. Hundreds of Olympians went to our school.
That's so cool.
Yeah, so Luke Patience.
Luke Patience, Hannah Rankin. I know she's not an Olympian, but and
it's Scotland's first female world champion, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, and Gordon Reid, who's a Wimbledon winner.
Oh my goodness, that's so crazy.
We all went to the same school.
I mean, it makes me kind of look at my own life and go, oh, okay. Look at all these Olympians, you're like, well, right, yeah.
I don't think there's sumo wrestling in the Olympics, mate.
No, but
maybe there should be.
It should be, you're right. Maybe there absolutely should be.
Yeah.
But they just put skateboarding in, so like, why not?
I just took my skateboard out of the lockup the other day, man.
Get on it.
I broke my leg last year.
His knees couldn't hold it.
Yeah, I had a serious accident last year, so I've only been able to walk for like 4 months, and
oh my God.
yeah, rough times. And
accident on skateboard?
No. Nah.
So you're going to tell me like absolutely bombed it off a mega ramp or something?
Nah.
Off a mega ramp.
Mega? What the hell's... There's a mini ramp. There's not a mega ramp.
Oh, these like 12-foot ramp things.
It's called a half pipe, man. There's like
No, bigger. I swear. Like, do you know Sky Brown, the little 12-year-old skater? She's in America. She trains with like Tony Hawk. I follow her on Instagram, and I swear to God, she was on a mega ramp yesterday. It's like 12
a mega ramp.
I swear that's what she called it. I'm gonna have to look it up now.
You nearly killed him there. You killed him.
I don't know. I just did not expect. Like, I did not expect the mega ramp to come out of your mouth. It just caught me purely off guard. Sorry. That's brilliant.
Right, okay, so let's just settle yourself down, Christopher.
Mega ramps aside.
Mega ramps aside. So when did you find out that you were selected to go to Tokyo?
Sadly enough, I still have not been selected for Tokyo.
What?
Yeah, I know, right? Mic drop.
Britain's most successful female rifle shooter of all time and world number 1.
Yeah.
But what, were you at that day or something?
It was supposed to be, the announcement's supposed to be in the middle of June, like the 16th or something.
Right.
But they delayed it because so all of our all of the like qualifying competitions, they haven't all been yet because they cancelled some of them this year and moved them to next year.
Right.
So they're still like qualifying for other events, not my event, but other events. They're still qualifying like stuff to go for it's mostly for the shotgun people. So they like bumped the team announcement, I think, until January. So yeah, it was supposed to be in June, but like officially, I've not been selected yet. I should be going. Like, it's
so
my quota place.
How do you do you just have to just keep preparing? Just in case.
Yeah.
I might get a call.
So they've got like qualifiers. So we get what's called quota places. I think lots of sports are different. Some sports have quota places. Other sports do it differently. We've got quota places. So I won a quota place back in September 2 years ago, 2018 at the World Champs. I won my quota place then. But the way they run it, the quota place is for the country, not for the athlete. So arguably British shooting could nominate somebody else for that quota place, but there isn't anybody else in my event at the moment who could take the quota place. So at the moment it's mine. It's likely to stay mine, so I should be selected, no bother. But yeah, we've got to wait for all the other events to happen so that all the other athletes and all the other disciplines can get selected at the same time.
That must be has that ever happened where somebody has won a quota place and then not been selected?
Yeah,
like,
it's happened loads of times. Yeah,
I mean, I get it if it's like kind of through injury or personal circumstance or something like that.
Yeah.
That I understand. But if that person's like, boom, won this quota spot, good and ready to go, and they went, actually no, you're not going to go. We're going to take this other person.
Yeah, it happens. So if you've got like, because I won mine 2 years. It was supposed to be 2 years before the Olympics. If you're like, I guess if there were other people, take my event, if there were other people in my event and there was maybe like 3 or 4 of us who were really good, one of them happened to win the quota place 2 years out, but then sort of dropped off a bit, wasn't doing so well, and one of the other girls started shooting way better, they could like wait right up until the Olympics and then take whoever's shooting the best at the time and take them. Yeah, thankfully I'm the only one in my event who's like likely to take it, but yeah, there's other events where there's like, so men's trap, so we say men's double trap, that doesn't exist anymore. Men's trap, there's like 5 of them, I think, that are good enough to go to the Olympics, who are good enough to medal, but there's only 2 quota places per event, so those 5 boys have got to fight for those spaces.
Mexican standoff.
I know, right? It's terrifying. I'm glad I'm not one of them.
That'd be a real kick in the shins, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I feel like it must be gutted. Like, yeah, imagine winning it and then not getting to go.
I know, yeah. I'd be raging.
Yeah.
Do you think though, with your experience at the Commonwealth Games, where you were a bit kind of blinded by the event, as it were, that going to Tokyo you'd have been able to zone in and just get the job done, bring home the goods?
Yeah, I think so. And we've had like a few other multi-sport events, I guess, since then as well. So there was Glasgow was the first one, and then I've been to 2 World University Games, which are pretty big as well. They're kind of not very well known about, I guess, at least in this country. But they're big, huge events. There's thousands of athletes there. And then the second Commonwealth Games in Gold Coast 2 years ago, there was that. And then we've had European Games as well. I've been to 2 European Games. So I guess like all of the multi-sport events that you go to adds to experience, and all of that experience adds up. So yeah, like I feel the Olympics is obviously different. It's special, I guess, in a way that none of the others, they are special, but like in a different way, I guess.
Yeah.
You can pretend that it's just another event, and you can pretend like, because it is exactly the same as all the other competitions I've shot, but it's not, because it's the Olympics.
Yeah.
So you can pretend as much as you want, but it's still the Olympics.
Yeah.
So it is different. So yeah, I kept saying like last year, like I don't know how I'll react. Like it might be completely different. It might be crazy. I might completely bottle it, but I might be exactly the same and just shoot like normal. And I guess, just wait and see, I suppose. Now I've got to wait another year, which is a bit annoying, but there we go.
So when did you notice, like, so obviously you said when you went to the Commonwealth and you didn't shoot your best and all that kind of thing, but obviously through the linear passage of time, you've improved. Did you notice like a real like turning point and you thought, oh, now I'm the best that there ever has been and will be?
I don't know. I don't know if I like noticed a big difference, I guess. I won the European Championships in 2017, which was my first like major win, I guess. I got like a few medals in like junior events, I guess. Before that, I don't think I'd ever won specifically. I think I had like a couple of silvers or whatever. But yeah, like that was my first like major win, and I guess after that I kept shooting well after that, or I kept like doing well. But I don't think I'd been shooting badly before that, if that makes any sense. I think it was just like gradual progression, and then that was my first sort of major win. And I guess maybe took a wee bit of confidence from that, and that kind of added. But I think I'd been just like progressing steadily since then. So yeah, I definitely didn't notice like oh, now I know how to shoot
Oh, been pointing it the right way around.
Right? No, didn't have any of those.
So see, after that first big win,
Yeah.
how did that feel? I mean, that's obviously a daft question. Probably felt magic, but was it like almost a sigh of relief as well? You think, right, well, I've kind of fulfilling my potential here, and you know you're on the right path.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, a bit of both, really. So that was like such a weird competition, because my sister, she won the prone event that was, I think, 2 days before the second event. And like she was still better at me than at all the events. Yeah, so she'd won 2 days before and I hadn't shot particularly well. And then that day, the day I won, we both shot the same score in qualification. There was 4 of us. We all shot the same top score. That range was like really, really windy and like crazy wind, not just normal like straight. It was kind of swirly, and yeah, it was like such a strange range to shoot on. It was mental. So yeah, there was 4 of us that all shot like the best score that day. It was equal, and me and Jen both shot the same score, which was awesome. So we were both in the final together, which was quite rare, I guess. I don't actually. In international competitions, I don't think that had ever happened. We'd never been in the same final before.
Wow.
Which was cool. But I'm really good at finals. I really like them, which I guess a lot of other people...
Handy, I suppose.
Right? Up to that point, like I'm rubbish in qualification. I say rubbish. Like I'm not very good at qualification, and then I'm really good at finals. But you have to be able to make the final to shoot the final, which up until this point I had not managed to do.
Why do you think that is?
I honestly don't know. I don't know if it's that I'm particularly good at them, or if it's like that other people aren't very good at them. Because the governing body, they change the rules all the time. And because I'm a fairly new shooter, I'd never shot on the old rules.
Right.
So this was like totally normal for me. Whereas I think a lot of the other girls are still getting used to the new rules, even though they're 5 years old now.
Right.
Yeah. So I don't know if that's a thing or what. But yeah, it was good fun. But yeah, we both shot in that final that day, and I guess it was really strange because I was not only watching what I was doing on the scoreboard, I was watching what she was doing on the scoreboard, being like, shoot better. I think she was fifth that day. But she, like, when you get knocked out, I guess. It's a knockout. So she'd like sat down, but the way they'd done the range, I was on the left hand end, she was on the right hand end, and when you go and sit down, they've got like, I guess, chairs set out. So when she sat down, she was facing me, and I could see her from across the room, and like I could see that she was really annoyed at herself for not shooting better. But she was also like so pumped for me, I guess. And I could see it on her face, and she was sat looking at me, and just before my last shot, I think I was in second, just before my last shot, and she looks at me and she's just like, come on! Like, she's not allowed to say anything out loud, but just like the look in her face, she was like, do it! And I was like, oh my god, okay. And I fired the last shot, and it was good. It was like a good shot, and I ended up winning. I think not by very much, but I ended up winning. It was really, really cool. But yeah, my sister was like sat across from me being like, do it! Win!
Is there a competitive edge between the two of you?
Absolutely, yeah. I think for a long time, like, I always wanted to beat Jen, because she's older and she's better, and she, like, for most of her career, I guess, she's been she's really good in her own right. She's been to 2 Olympics. She was the best rifle shooter before I came along. Go
on, I love that.
Hate me if she hears
There's a soundbite. There is a soundbite. I love that. That was brilliant.
That's funny. Yeah, she's gonna kill me if she hears that.
It's just stats.
No, so I was like, she's the best. So yeah, I was always really competitive because I always wanted to beat her. I guess, and then so she's retired now. But yeah, that competitive edge was always there.
Did she retire because you got better?
I don't think so. I think she was kind of getting ready to be out of the sport and wanted to start a family and things. So I think she was just done in general. I think it's a good timing, I suppose. I don't know how demotivating it is.
Really, isn't it?
Hand the torch over.
Yeah.
That's
well,
sorry, Chris.
It must be really, really good, obviously, because it's an incredible, it's a great upbringing, and if you want to go into the sport, having siblings that are world class at the sport, it's going to help you. I mean, it's
and your dad's a gaffer.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
does that get tiring though? Obviously, with your dad being the coach as well. Like, how do you balance that, the like kind of work side to?
I guess
family life.
With me and Jen, it's kind of interesting. I think because I was always quite competitive with her. She'll never admit it, but she's just as competitive with me. But yeah, I guess like that that did strain our relationship, I guess, for quite a long time. We mixed, I guess, as to whether we get on or not. We get on a lot better now.
We're enemies.
Yeah. We didn't get on for a long time. Yeah.
You don't want. I just think it'd be such a strange argument. Who you talk to?
What's he mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, look, it has been. She's been more of a help to me than I think she realizes, and I've told her before. I've lots of people have asked me about this before. But like, I guess we use each other to get better. So like, I'll shoot better than her, and then she'll be like, "Oh no, I can't have that," and she'll shoot better, and like we've bounced off each other for years. But also like, because I'm younger, I've seen a lot of stuff that she's done, or maybe stuff that she's tried that hasn't worked. And I'm like, well, I don't have to try that now because Jen's already tried it. Or like, not necessarily just her, but like behaviors and stuff that other people do that aren't helpful. I can look at that and be like, well, that's not helpful. That's like a bit of a hindrance, and not do it. So I've actually learned a lot from her mistakes as well as my own mistakes, which I think maybe annoys her. But it's made my progression a lot easiher because I haven't had to make those mistakes myself, I guess.
It's good practice. That's good practice, though. Do you know what I mean? You should always. You've got to take on what other people have done in the past. Do you know what I mean? And
Absolutely.
try and use it to the best of your ability. 100%. And she should.
Yeah,
She should be proud of herself because of that.
Indeed. Like, even if she wasn't my sister, I'd still have done the same thing. So.
I bet you dinner around the Macintosh table. What's that like? It's just you all have you seen a new billet set out? Melted.
Oddly enough, that is like relatively what it's like. Although it's actually banned, we're not allowed to speak about shooting at the table, except because it's what we all have in common. It is exactly what ends up being discussed at the dinner table. If my grand's there too, she kind of just sits there and like drifts off into I don't even know where, because she has no idea what we're on about.
Yep.
And then every now and again, my mum will realise and be like, U-turn on the subject, and she'll just like, what about NCS or I don't know, some television programme.
So, see, outside of shooting, so you said you're in a pipe band.
Yep.
So you're obviously musical.
Yeah.
So, like, so what else do you do apart from shoot things?
Well, I have been at uni most of the time. I graduated last year. Hoping to go back and do a master. Well, I am going back and do a master's next year. I was going to do it this year after the Olympics, but I had to defer it because it's in Glasgow, and there's nowhere to train in Glasgow, so I had to stay in Edinburgh. So I'm hoping to go back and do a master's again this year. Actually, I'm still waiting to hear back about that. But other than that, I've got various things. I am quite musical, like you said. There's a piano behind me on this side. There's a drum kit behind me on that side. There's a couple of guitars over here. So yeah, I am quite musical. I'm not very good at it, but I have fun.
So what did you study at uni?
I did electrical engineering the first time.
Wow.
Right. I get that reaction all the time. I never know if it's because I'm a girl or
no,
what.
but it's because you're world class rifle
Shooter.
shooter.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
If you did something to do with like I don't know, like
Physics.
Aeronautical engineering.
Ridiculous thing to say.
Aeronautical engineering, like see, like something like that, where you've got to think about things being like. I think that
so I did.
sense.
I started doing mechanical engineering when I went to uni. My first 2 years, I did mechanical engineering, but I couldn't get my head around fluid dynamics.
I hate when that happens.
Right.
I've been trying myself.
So I switched over to computers because it's way easier. Yeah, I did that.
So do you think? So do you think that like once you go to the Olympics, that'll be you'll be full time Olympian, and the old mechanical engineering can take a back seat?
I don't know. So at the moment, this last year, I've been full time with the intention of being full time and sort of putting all my focus towards the Olympics, and then going to the Olympics and then going back to uni. COVID has screwed that up.
I know, man.
So, I guess I don't really want to. I don't really want to not like to be full time again this year. Like in case the Olympics don't happen, in case COVID doesn't really go away. I don't really want to be sat on my bum not doing anything again for another year.
Yeah.
Hence why I'm going to look to do another master's degree. They're really good. Like the universities are always really supportive of things like sport. I guess it's good kudos for them.
Yep.
But they're always really supportive of stuff like that. So it's you can like delay exams or presentations and stuff like that. So
wow.
Especially when people kind of do it at such a high level. I mean, there's like the army does a lot of loads of examples of that. We've had lads go and do judo and stuff, and they're basically they're just left to go away and do judo stuff.
Yeah. We've got we've got like trips to target at the moment. We've got one guy on our programme who's in the army. Yeah,
exactly. They just get cut away. I mean, there's it's the same with like rugby lads. So we've got in fact, he's actually an England international. He's a Fijian guy originally. But he's, what is it?
I'm pretty sure he's always a Fijian guy. He's
a Fijian playing for England.
He's always been a Fijian. You can't say he's a Fijian originally, and then suddenly just went, huh, and then no Fijian anymore.
Well, yeah, but he's playing for England.
Splitting hairs, my man. Splitting hairs.
I know, splitting hairs. I've completely lost my train of thought. So I was starting to lose it anyway, rambling, because I realised as I started this quote, I couldn't remember the guy's name. I was like, so what I was doing was I was kind of pausing, padding out, and then realised, and then obviously,
Right, okay. Well, what we'll do is we'll segue from that, Chris, right?
Please.
Because I want to know about the Rifle Shooting World Cup. Everyone's been talking about it.
Yep.
I can't look at my phone with it being all about the rifle shooting World Cup. But in all honesty, I'd never heard it. So,
No.
tell me about the format and who are the big players and everything to do with it.
Well, we've talked to one of them.
Aye, but she's not the only one.
That's funny.
Who's the big
This
player?
guy,
Who's got 2 thumbs and is a big player?
Oh, that'd be so cool. I wish I was like confident enough to say things like that and like
100%.
properly mean them.
Back yourself.
So, we'll say it for you. We'll say it for you.
Exactly.
But
It's me. No.
this guy. No, right. So tell us.
So we actually have 4 World Cups a year normally. Sometimes it's only 3 depending. But
4
we
World
have
Cups a year.
4, yeah.
We only
have 4.
football only gets one every 4 years.
I know it's weird because we have World Championships. I guess is similar to the Football World Cup. It's just like a funny name, I guess.
Okay.
So I guess it's kind of like Formula One Grand Prix, maybe. That we have 4 World Cups and then there's a World Championships every 4 years. So yeah, our World Cups they vary. They move around different places. There's normally one in Munich every year. Next year there's not one in Munich, but I think that's a COVID thing. We've got, what have we got next year? There's one in Delhi in India. There's one in Changwon in Korea, and there's one in Baku in Azerbaijan next year.
So dead accessible places then, aye.
Just round the corner.
Azerbaijan.
Just up the road.
The
Aye,
shooting
they're
capital of the world.
I feel though, right.
Azerbaijan.
I feel that Azerbaijan's just kind of recently has just kind of popped up in the last
Right?
few
Is that
years.
not where the Champions League final was?
It was the Europa League
The
final.
Europa League final.
It
but it's
does
just,
feel like that, especially Baku, the Baku
Yeah.
city. So I went to Heriot Watt University. Heriot Watt have got a campus in Baku now.
What?
Yeah, which I didn't know. I think it's quite small, but
That's
yeah, they've got one in Azerbaijan. I was like, well, there you go.
Heriot
that's a bit of a
Watt.
surprise.
Heriot Watt.
No, you're not. I mean, it's a remote location.
Yeah, it's so bizarre. I mean, they only run some of their
Azerbaijan,
courses. But yeah, it's bizarre.
Pack
'Cause
your
they've got like
suntan lotion.
international campuses. They've got some in like, I think there's one in Malaysia, one in Dubai, are their like main campuses that they talk about. But they've also got like smaller campuses that only run a handful of courses. There's one in China, and there's one in Baku, there's one in Orkney. Yeah,
That's one of the Orkney. Aye,
I know, right? And Gala
Baku,
schools.
Orkney.
right?
That's
Yeah.
weird, man.
Baku's good though. Like I've been a few times because they had the European Games in 2015, the first one. That was in Baku. It was the first time I'd been to the country.
What's
But
it
I've
like?
been
What's
to-
it
I've been
like?
to Azerbaijan. It's kind of weird. So Baku's quite westernized, I guess, in some ways. It seems like I say normal, I guess. It's just like a city. It's kind of what I expect Dubai to be like, actually.
Right. Okay.
It seems like really glitzy and glamoury. It's really nice. And they're very accepting of Westerners. But I've been to Gabala. I guess it's about 4 hours drive away, and it was less accepting of Westerners.
Oh, really?
It was still okay, like it was still fine, but I guess like one of the Australian girls, she went into town, one of the pistol shooters, she was wearing like shorts and a t-shirt or whatever, and she had like people yelling at her, and somebody threw a stone at her or something because she was like not covered up or whatever. Whereas if you're in Baku, like that was totally fine, nobody bats an eye. So I guess it's just Baku must be quite westernized, I guess.
They
It's
obviously
quite
didn't
strange.
know that she was a pistol shooter, did they?
Right.
Throw a stone at-
If only you knew.
What?
It's funny.
It's a strange place because, like I say, I feel like it's only just popped up like over the last kind of 5 years or so. Like,
Yeah.
but it's well because are they not? They enter like all the European competitions, but they're quite blatantly not in Europe. I mean, geographically they're not in Europe,
No.
but yet they still manage to.
Yeah, that's what
I
we were saying when
understand
we had the European Games there. It was just like, how is Azerbaijan in Europe? But it is. So.
Well, are they in the Eurovision Song Contest?
Well, mate,
No.
Australia are in the Eurovision Song Contest.
Aye, but that's only around the corner.
Do you know what I mean? It's just, yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, so tell us how many people. I'm just going to
Sorry, back
start.
to World Cup,
I
I know.
know. Tell me how many folk enter the World Cup.
It depends on where the World Cup is.
If it's in Baku, fuck all.
Well, Baku's quite a big one. India's probably less big. I guess it's quite hard to get to.
Wait a
Well,
minute.
for some people.
Baku, right, is easier to get to than India.
At least for like the Americans, I guess. India's a wee bit further. I think Baku's quite well. This sounds really weird because obviously the world is round, but Baku's quite easy because it's like right in the middle of the planet.
Well, I mean, it depends on your point of view, man. Some
It
people
does,
don't
yeah,
think
I
it is.
suppose.
Some people don't think the world round, man.
Yeah, like you can get
That's true, yeah.
from the Americas, so you can go that way really easily, and because I guess the people do fly the other way around the planet, but they tend to fly in one direction, I guess.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's like easy to get to from Australia, I guess, but India's like slightly further away for the Americans.
I just kind of think if you've made the commitment to go to Azerbaijan, you think, oh, it's only another extra hour or something. Fucking,
Yeah.
let's just keep going.
A wee bit further.
You know what I mean? Halfway through the flight, like, oh, fuck this.
Like it's in consecutive weeks.
Aye.
Oh, going to that World Cup again next week. Where is it? Delhi. I'm not going now. You know what I mean?
Oh, wait oh, no. I thought it was only Baku.
I draw the line at Baku.
Right, so
We
tell
had
me.
one
All right, where else to go? Say it's the Arctic
We
or
had
something.
one in Mexico a few years ago. I think there were 2 or 3 years ago. We had something else on, so we didn't go. But like Mexico didn't have a very high number of entries, I guess, because everybody in Europe. So like the concentration of shooters in the world are mostly in Europe.
Why is that?
I don't really know. I think it's because we've got so many like tiny little countries. I guess maybe used to be one country. Yeah, so we've got like loads, really high concentration. I guess sort of Asia, India, China, that sort of a bit of Asia has also got lots of shooters. But yeah, like the concentrations on that continent. So yeah, like going to Mexico was really, really far for loads of people. So yeah, they didn't have a very high entry, I guess. Munich's the biggest one. Sorry, what?
Do you think that might be just because obviously, I mean, gun control over in the Americas is famously more lax.
Yes.
I mean, so I imagine because it's quite a kind of taboo thing to do over here is fire a weapon of any sort. Like not many people. There are people that could quite easily go their whole life having never shot a rifle or a pistol or whatever, like Greg, for example. But over there, I suppose, like you say, I mean, there's it's well documented, especially in America, that kids, people bring their children up around weapons and stuff. So
Yeah. I
mean, it's quite literally like family time. Like we just go out the back of the house and just like shooting cans and stuff like that. So I mean, I suppose, and especially in Mexico, I was like, whoa, bet they're real good. But actually, probably just because everybody's just like, firing stuff all over the place. You know what I mean?
I don't know. It's kind of weird. I think it's probably got something to do with it. But I don't. America's top and bottom, they don't have as many shooters as you'd think. At least not Olympic style shooting, and it's probably that's why. Because they've got access to other kinds of firearms and stuff, they go and shoot cans in their back garden instead of doing like Olympic style shooting. A lot of the American rifle shooters, like Olympic shooters, they're all in the military. Or a lot of them are, not exclusively, but most of them are in the military. I don't know. I think it's maybe.
I think it's. Now I don't know if I'm using this word properly, but it's like it's a historic sport, innit? And it's usually, and if you think about shooting and dressage and archery, they're like historic sports that were probably for those in the upper echelon of society, right? Yeah. America's not that old, man. Whereas, like you've got whereas I bet you folk have been, I mean, they've been having archery tournaments in Britain since the days of Robin Hood. Forever. Do you know what I mean? So it's probably more ingrained into society a bit. Do you know what I mean? So it's like something
Yeah.
that, like in you're demonstrating with your family, that it's passed through the generations. Whereas in
Yeah.
America, it's just I don't know, like 12-year-olds rolling about with Uzis and that. Do you know what I mean?
Well, I said it's passing the generations, but it's just like firing from the hip. And,
Yeah.
I mean,
It does.
Aye.
Have you seen the videos of like the 9-year-old girl with the Uzi?
No.
Those
No.
things terrify. There's this. I think it was a few months ago, but there's a video of this 9-year-old girl firing an Uzi. She's not even got the butt on it, so she's just like holding it out at arm's length. And it like obviously she can't handle the recoil because she's 9, and it just goes like straight up. And I was kind of like, why would you do that? Why would you not give her like a little tiny air pistol or something?
Why would you give her a Barbie, man?
Well, that too.
Like, why would I would?
I don't know.
Give her the junior gun. Don't fucking give her any gun.
Aye.
Yeah.
It does horrify me in some ways.
Right.
Yeah.
Can we please
But
get
it's
back to the
different,
World
totally
Cup?
different. Sure.
It's the one thing I want to know about.
World Cup.
I fucking keep on talking about Baku and Uzis. Don't want to know about any of them. Right. I want to know about the World Cup.
I'll tell you about the World Cup. So Munich's the biggest one.
Okay.
Normally, I guess there's probably, I couldn't tell you how many competitors total. There is a number, but I can't remember it. But in my event, I think there were 160 entries last year. In my event, which is quite a lot. And that's the biggest number. I think there was 192 in one event and 160 in the other event. I can't remember which way around it was. So like it's huge. And then there's, I guess, so we tend to have out of the 4 World Cups, there's normally one of them, at least maybe 2, that are pistol. So rifle and pistol are always together because we use the same ranges and everything. And then shotgun as well. And there's normally 1 or 2 of the World Cups a year are combined, where they can do both the shotgun and the rifle and pistol on the same venue. Because shotgun they're so different. They've got like different layouts and stuff. That in some of the venues they can't do both. So yeah, that happens. So I guess you've got men's and women's 2 rifle events, format like each. 2 or 3 pistol events, and then I think 2 shotgun events, and then there's mixed events for all 3. So for like there's a mixed pistol event, a mixed rifle, and a mixed shotgun event.
Wow.
So yeah, say there's like 100 entries for each of those. That's I don't know what that number is, but it's huge.
And you've won it.
Yeah,
Man,
it's cool, right?
that's really cool.
It's cool.
So how many times you won it? Just all the time, all the times, Greg.
I won it once, and I got 2 silver medals as well. So,
Wow, man.
yeah, it's super cool.
So is it because you won that you are ranked number 1
Yes.
in the entire globe?
Yep.
Imagine that. Imagine if this has been the best
I know, right?
at anything in the world.
It's so cool.
That is
I love when people tell me it, like, obviously I know, but I love when people say it to me because I don't obviously think about it all the time. And then people are
It's
just
amazing.
like, do you know you're world number 1? I'm like, yeah.
Yeah, I do. Yes.
Yeah, I am.
Yeah, I think it's amazing just to be the best at anything.
Yeah,
Do you
it's
know
cool,
what I mean?
right?
But like something that's recognised as an Olympic sport, to be the best. Imagine that, just being the best. Not even quite good. Just fucking better than everybody.
Yeah, exactly. Like literally, there
And
is
not only
nobody
that,
else
right?
better than me.
And not only that, being Britain's most successful ever.
Right?
Man.
So cool.
And there's been a
So
lot
cool.
there's been a lot of riflers.
That is true.
Exactly.
There's
Just to be
a guy called...
Christopher. Fucking stop it, son. Just don't look at me like that. Right. So
There's a guy from the 70s and 80s. His name's Malcolm Cooper. Sadly, he's passed away now, but he is generally considered the best British rifle shooter, male or female, ever. I've not quite surpassed him yet. He's got quite a few Olympic medals, but my absolute dream life goal is to be better than Malcolm.
wow.
Because everybody it's like in the shooting world, I guess, people are just like, oh, you're going to be the next Malcolm. And I just like, I would love for somebody to be talking to some young kid and be like, you're going to be the next Shona. I'd be like, yes.
That would be incredible, wouldn't it? Yeah.
That's so cool.
That's legacy,
Legacy,
isn't it?
mate. Legacy.
Right?
Yeah.
That's so cool. I'd love for that. I'd love that. Even if I'm not as good as Malcolm, like
Just say it. Just say it.
Just to, but
yeah.
see, even just to be in the same conversation as like and as people held in that high esteem, like it must be quite surreal. especially
Yeah,
kind of
definitely.
being in your early 20s as well. It's just kind of like, wow.
Right? Yeah, it is super cool. I always wish I could meet Malcolm. People always tell me about him. Like people who've been around, I guess. So our sports, like in this country, is like super old, I guess.
Yeah.
So it's full of older men. Sorry to all the old men out there who are going to be upset because I called them old. But yeah, our sport's like full of older men. So a lot of them knew Malcolm or met Malcolm or whatever, and they all tell me about him all the time. And yeah, I've heard so many things. I'm like, I wish I could have met him. He sounds really cool. Yeah.
That's amazing.
So I'm like, hopefully I'll live forever, and the next generation, they'll
Yeah.
be like, oh, like we'll tell you about Shona, and I'll be like, I can meet this person.
Yeah,
Really cool.
that's
That'd
amazing.
be cool, man.
So before we finish up for this evening, because I genuinely could talk about rifle shooting for longer than I thought I could. By the way, I'm impressed myself, having known hee-haw about it. So,
It showed.
mate, listen, I'm just here trying to educate myself. I don't
Well,
expect to be
that's essentially what
I don't want to be chastised by the likes of you, right? So, before we finish up for this evening, I want to know what's your plans after rifle shootings, competing at rifle shooting is done. Are you going to follow in your dad's footsteps, you think, and start coaching people, or leave it behind?
I think probably leave it behind.
Oh, really?
Yeah, genuinely.
Go out on top?
British shooting will be so upset. They're like desperate for me to coach. But to be honest, I think I'll be a rubbish coach. Yeah, I don't know. I'm too impatient with people, I think. I could see me being the kind of coach that's like, why can't you just do it? Yeah. I mean, I'm fine with myself, but yeah, like I think if I was to coach somebody, I'd always be like, but why can't you just do it? It's really easy. And yeah, I don't think I'd be a very good coach at all. My dad's great. He's like super patient and is really chill, and he knows loads. So if you're like, it's good to try and figure stuff out yourself, but if like I word vomit quite a lot, as I'm sure you've noticed. I like word vomit him, and he kind of just like takes the words and rearranges them, and it's just like, this is what you mean. This, we'll do this. I don't think I could do that, but he's great at it. So,
so you think you'll be just going and living a regular life, and
yeah, that's the plan.
Then competitive shooting will be like mist on the dew. Don't even know what that means.
So, if you were to like one thing that's just popped into my head there, if you were to impart any advice onto kind of the younger version of you now, what would you say to the younger Shona?
I've got so many things. Stop being a knob.
I mean, I was just talking about shooting, but I mean, if you want to counsel yourself, let's dive down that road.
That's funny. That's honestly, that's what I would tell my teenage self. Stop being a knob. No, I guess shooting wise, yeah, I don't know. I guess be more patient. I guess. I think I spent a lot of time trying to compete with other people. When I think actually shooting's a lot about maybe competing with yourself. Not even competing with yourself, but always trying to better yourself, or trying to improve what you did yesterday, I guess. Mm-hmm. So spend less time comparing yourself to other shooters and more time working on doing your own stuff, and doing it better, probably.
That also sounds like valuable life advice as
right.
well.
Life advice from Shona.
Well, don't be a knob.
Well, yeah, that
too.
That and don't compare yourself to other people.
You could combine the two. Combine the two. Don't be a knob. Stop comparing yourself to everyone else.
Yeah, exactly.
There we go. That's it.
I should have motivational posters.
Don't be a knob. Shona says, don't be a knob. Right, okay, guys. I'm going to call it a night there. But, Shona, it's been lovely talking to you. And not a problem. And I wish you the best of luck, because we all know you're going to Tokyo.
Thank you.
I just hope you bring home the gold.
Me too.
Yeah. So I'm going to sign off just now, folks. So thanks for listening, guys. Please hit those like and subscribe buttons.